to work out for us here. So just want to say that Joe Bradney was recently hospitalized for dehydration, and I think they got him hydrated and he's doing well. We do have a card for Joe that we're going to pass around, so please be sure to pass it back. Let's welcome back Michael Brockta, who spent 3 weeks at Mount Everest. And I want to congratulate Sam Lineberger III, who was recently honored as corporate hero by the American Red Cross. And John made me do it, but ServPro was recognized as Salem Chamber Business of the Year. So thank you. Our invocation today is going to be Don Chichester.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we invoke your blessing upon this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke, upon its members and their families and friends. We thank you for the healing of Joe Bradney, the safe return of Michael Brockta from Mount Everest, the honor bestowed upon Sam Lineberger III, and the honor bestowed upon President Clark's company, ServPro. And Father, we invoke your blessing upon this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke. And we ask, O Lord, as we know that there are many who need comfort and kindness, so open our eyes to their problems and let our ears hear their voices of need. Help us to show our love for you by serving others through Kiwanis. And now bless this food to our use and us to your service. Amen.
One of the three things that I really like about Kiwanis Club meetings is, number one, we stand on our feet to respect each other, and we pray to God, thank him for blessings. We get to sing a patriotic song, and then we get pledge allegiance, and I think that's wonderful. So today we're going to sing a patriotic song. How about God Bless America? And sing it like you want God to bless us. I'm sure you do. Judy? Let me hear you now. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you.
On that note, I'd ask you to join us in the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Don, Gary, and Joe. Introduction to guests today is going to be Lori Baker Lloyd.
Good afternoon, everyone. Joining us today, we have three guests, and I'll ask you to stand with your sponsor when your name is called. First up, we have Milton Hardy Jr., who is the guest of Stephanie Moon Reynolds. Milton is a community outreach supervisor with Roanoke City Allegheny Department of Health. He is no stranger to us. He last presented a COVID update, I think it was earlier this year, and Milton is also a prospective new member. Welcome. We also have joining us Eric Lincolnhoker. Eric is the guest of someone he knows fairly well, his wife, Leanne Lincolnhoker. And Eric teaches 9th grade at Franklin County High School. Welcome, Eric. And finally, we have Ben Baird, who is the guest of someone he knows fairly well, and that's his wife, Jean Bollendorf. Did I pronounce? Ben says he works as little as possible and still gets paid. I think that's also known as being semi-retired. And we welcome you, Ben. We welcome all of our guests. Thank you very much. And we hope you will come back and join us again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. So we have, I'm going to bring past President Andy Stone up to talk about our nominations from the floor.
Thank you very much. For those who weren't here last week, we had nominating committee has nominated for our officers for next year, President Ben Spiker, President-elect Michael Bacha, Vice President Jenny Bergendorf, Secretary Treasurer John Montgomery, past President Clark Goodman, and 3 directors, Bob Hagerman, Bruce Swanson, Sheila Umberger, and Harry Zano, for 3-year terms on the board of directors. The slate will be set in April. And today we're asking, are there any nominations from the floor? Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. Next week will be the election formally.
Thank you, Andy. All right. Boy, that's how we get it done here in Kiwanis. We've got a whole bunch of announcements, so please be respectful of the time. But I see we got our jockeys in the house. Let's bring up our K-Pad team, see how the horses had run this week.
Okay, so Harriet is back from South Carolina. She was getting some work done. It didn't go well. She still looks the same in all of her majesty. Oh, we lost part of her guts. Oh, easy, Harriet. Here, Clark, take Harriet. Put her in her stall, please. So we're gonna go a little bit backwards. I'm not gonna tell you the grand total until we get to the end, but we're going to start as usual. We're going to see who's running for the roses. We are coming in the home stretch, guys, home stretch. So let's talk about our thoroughbred and who's in first place. I know somebody in the back of the room is going to be pretty excited. Go ahead, Mike. 1850. Woo! Yes. And where is JC Taylor? On the one day that he's been fussing the whole time, we finally get to the top. So we're excited that our team brought in $1,850 this week. Well done. I'm super proud of our team. Let's talk about who is taking over the track today. None other than Bruce Swanson with $500. Well done. And who feels like they're going back to the barn? Oh, same as last week. But as I also mentioned, when we talk about the grand totals for the teams, just because you're going back to the barn this week doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. They are still bringing in money, and we still love this team very, very much. So as we can see, our weeks. Last week, we had an extremely strong week. This week, we did well, not as good, but we did come in at $3,675. It's nothing to hang your head at. That's an excellent, excellent number. And so here we go. Team Secretariat in first place for the first time, but right on our heels, odds on favorite with 82.45. And you can see again, consortiums, they are definitely not at the end and they're still bringing in a strong $6,110. So where are we at with our grand total? As we come around the track, you can see we're racing and we're at $45,991. Clap about that for sure. Go ahead, Mike, on the next slide. So we only have $14,000 left. Seems like a lot of money, but when we take things like gate ticket sales and auction items, which we have the potential to get a good $6,000 out of this auction. If we get these items up and get the attention going, you're going to be getting the link if you haven't already to the auction. Get on there, log in, check out the items. Some of them do have a reserve. It will tell you what that reserve is, but we are still in need of a lot more auction items. We're pretty excited that Lois and I have decided that we are going to auction ourselves off again this year, but we're going to sweeten the pot. It's a package deal. So this year, you will get me and Lois for outside cleanup for 1 hour. You will get Clark, the maid, Goodman, your president, cleaning either windows or your toilets. And you also will get Ben Spiker, who will be cooking you dinner, and he will even be paying for the food that he is providing to cook. Minimum bid will be $250. We will be part of the auction, so once you see us go up there with our picture and the description of what we're going to be doing, feel free to start bidding.
All right, so just want to give a few shout outs too. So Bruce was our big thoroughbred this week, but we also had some others that brought in a lot of money. So David Bowers came in strong with 400, Jim Arend and JC Taylor both came in with 300 this week too. So with that in mind, we all know Rupert has had a commanding lead up to this point. And Rupert to date is at $2,600, which is phenomenal. Go Roop. But right on his heels is none other than JC Taylor, who is running hard to catch Rupert. And JC is at $2,100. So go JC. And of course, is he online? JC, I can't believe you're not here today.
I'm right here watching every bit of it.
So you guys, the race is still going. We've come around. We're in the home stretch. We want to bring it home, bring it running for the roses, and we're getting a lot of good momentum. So keep it going all the way to the end. All right. So good job, everybody. We have Betsy. We want to talk to you guys for a few minutes about the auction, just to get that going. And while she's coming up, you guys all know we'll do an in-person auction for the live auction on May 14th at 6 p.m. at Twisted Track. So I hope you guys can all meet us there. All right. So Betsy, give us some words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom here. I was upset the other day because I didn't think there were very many auction items, but I think we're doing well now. Eric told me that he had gotten one for Hotel Roanoke. He's going to tell you about that. And Amy has put a lot of items up, but everyone in here should be able to put at least one item up. You only have to send it to Leanne. If you can't remember Leanne's name, you can send it to Lois or to Emily. And describe what you're getting, what you want to put on the website. Put how much it's worth, the value, put what the starting price should be and how much you want to increase it. Everyone in here can put up at least one item. If you don't have any items, come on by my house. I'm still cleaning out Sam Lineberger's trailer, which I've collected from my items I've collected from my friend honestly, do not feel bad if you have nothing in your house. My husband told me no more. So please try to put at least one item up, and we can make that $6,000 from the auction, the live auction and the online auction. Thank you.
One other thing while Eric's coming up, I looked at the rankings and I want to say that one of our goals is that we want to have 0 zeros. That means everybody can buy at least one ticket, okay? $5 every day. Okay, right now we're standing with 37 Kiwanians that have not turned in any money. 37 of us, okay? If you even just turn in $5,
$5. It's $185 total. Do y'all remember writing checks? Anybody remember writing checks? I went to the grocery one time and I got a pack of gum and I had to write a check for 73 cents because all I had was my checkbook. And I felt so foolish. And I thought, who writes a check for 73 cents? You don't ever write a check for anything under what? $5. But guess what? Now you can, because you can write a check for $5 to Kiwanis and we'll cash that sucker all day long. So there's no shame in that game. Get out your checkbook and write a check for $5.
every day.
Wow. So I got to follow these two, huh? So I want to thank Betsy Bohannon. I was going to do a brag bar because I did get a gift certificate from the Hotel Roanoke. Just picked it up on my way over here. I was going to do a brag buck, but Betsy spilled the beans. So John, charge her account. No, I'm just kidding. Betsy's good.
I'll put it up for you.
But yeah, all I had to do is ask the hotel. It's night for two, dinner and breakfast. So it's going in the auction. It'll be a good live auction thing. But the reason I'm standing here before you today is think of me as Harry Zuloff and Jeff Leatherwood all rolled into one, talking about volunteer signups. So we're going to do something neat here. We can get the big screen to go to the Kiwanis Club of Roanoke. RoanokeKiwanisClub.org. That's our website. There's our website right there. If y'all haven't been here, please go to the website. There's all kinds of good information. But we're going to go and look at the calendar. There's a calendar that's got all the good stuff just listed right out by the month, by the date. And so Mike's looking for kids fishing. No, he's looking for KPAD. There's the KPAD logo. And I think all he has to do is click it and he'll go right to the KPAD page. There's other ways to get to the KPAD page too on the website. It's just chock full of all kinds of information and ways to get there. So here's the KPAD page. You might recognize, yeah, it's definitely Kiwanis Pancakes and Auction Day. If you look down here, there's some information about, you can send your friends here too. There's links for, you can buy tickets, you can get the live auction information's there. There's links to videos and there's a link to sign up. So the sign up here, click right there, zoom in, boom. So Mike's gonna go sign up. So this is the signup.com page. It helps us be organized and it lets you pick different duties, different times, and you just go in there and pick a duty. Yeah, I said duty. She got duty on her boots and Mike's got a duty up here on the screen. So go to RoanokeKiwanisClub.org and sign up. Send your friends there. Just give them the good link to get to the page, get them to sign up. We're in a membership drive. So the friends and guests you bring to work KPAD, boom, counts towards the membership drive too. We want to get everybody who comes and works to sign up through the signup.com. That's all I got, folks.
And just to remind you guys, the auction is live. So you might have seen the email gone out. You see it on Facebook. So if you guys want to start bidding on things, you can do it. And remember, auction dollars are the same amount as sales dollars. So remember, Betsy came in first last year because of the auction items. So keep that in mind. Mike McAvoy wants to talk about the Blue Ridge Marathon summary.
Thanks, President Clark. I want to just thank everybody who volunteered for the marathon. It was we had very nice weather, a little chilly if you were at the top of the mountain. The wind was blowing a little bit up there, but had a great time. A number of I was a marshal along the course. So I talked to a lot of the runners, and many were from out of town. And they stopped and took pictures and just told me how impressed they were with Roanoke. So thank you guys for helping to make that happen. So if you're here today, I'm going to announce everybody who volunteered. If you're here today, stand up and be recognized. Sherry Dillon was at the start line, and she also brought 2 friends with her. So Sherry, thank you. Lois James was a course marshal. Up at the aid station, you had David Farnham, Joe Limmer, Pegram Johnson. Let's see, John Pendleton helped with bike relief. Reef Kessler was one of the medical volunteers. Lance Bowen was at the aid station along with Bill Bestpitch and Ben Burks. I know Ben's, I think, online today. And Sherry Hartman. And then Don Witt had the plum assignment at the intersection of 23rd and Avonham as a course marshal. And then Don Wilson and his wife Joanna poured beer. So at the event on Friday night. And then Gary Durick, I think, serenaded people with the bugle at the start, and Joyce Waugh actually helped on Friday with registration. So how about a big round of applause for all those volunteers? So you guys did such a good job with that. Now we have the Ironman coming up on June 4th. Actually, the Ironman's the 5th, but we're going to be helping with registrations on Saturday the 4th. And again, we'll have a link on the calendar on the website so to help you sign up. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you to all the volunteers. Bob's going to talk about the Kids Fishing Day, April 30th.
Keep it short, but having been the recipient of 2 of these Kidwell cards recently, I know that means a lot, and appreciate the ones that I received. Just remind you, Kids Fishing Day is not this Saturday, but the next Saturday, the 30th. And if you volunteered, we need you to be there by 9 o'clock or so. The numbers look, pretty good. I think we're going to have enough volunteers, but don't let it slip. Thank you, and we'll see you then.
Thank you, Bob. Jackie's going to tell us about the prayer breakfast, May 5th.
Thank you, President Clark, and thank all of you that have purchased tickets to the prayer breakfast. We're at about 52 and counting, so we'd like to get maybe 70. It's going to be a very interesting. We have several ministers that will offer prayers in different faiths, and our ladies from Ukraine will be there, and I really would like for you to meet them. And excuse me, and another thing, I want to announce again, we're having a prayer rally this weekend, this Saturday at 5 o'clock at River's Edge, the south side of River's Edge, for the Ukraines. It's going to be, we've got music from Shiloh Baptist. We've got several ministers offering prayers. In fact, we have a lot of ministers offering prayers. So if you want something to do that's uplifting at 5 o'clock on Saturday, come out and join us. Thank you.
Don Witt here. I am not Micah Brockta, which is on the schedule now, but I want to invite you to help us plow the pollinator garden over to Nature Park this Thursday at 6 o'clock. Nathan Staley is bringing a plow over, and what we need is some people to move the plastic away and move all the weights, the logs and so forth that are holding the plastic down. So if you could come around 5:30, move that plastic away and watch the fantastic plowing job. So I'm Michael Brockta, And I've just returned from a successful trek to 17,600 feet to the base camp of Mount Everest. What an adventure. I can assure you I have photos and a video. But most important for today, I want you to know that you were with me every step of the way. Mike, do you have a photograph? Keep talking. Mount Everest, a lifetime dream for someone who spends their time going to high altitudes. A lifetime dream that included not only the natural beauty of being up above tree line, one of the most famous mountains in the world, but the cultural aspects of visiting Nepal and seeing the Nepalese people. So while I was there, I had this photograph taken because I wanted you all to know you were with me every step of the way. I carried this every step. Thank you much.
I believe Sherry Hartman had an announcement, and I saw she was on Zoom. So maybe Sherry can make her announcement that way.
Thank you, President Clark. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you great, Sherry.
Okay, very good. Well, thanks so much. I do want to remind everybody about the opportunity to clear out your cemetery of old electronics from your basement and take them on over to Cox on Ballawater Lane between 8 in the morning and 2. Cox is a partner of ours with the Nature Park, thanks to Dr. Rupert Cutler's wonderful relationship with Jeff over there. And so bring your electronics to that site and also give them a thank you, because the proceeds from it will be going to our Kiwanis Nature Park. And a shout out to Don Witt. We got to do a duet today, thanks to Cox's invitation to have us present this morning at the Leadership Roanoke Valley event. Thank you, President Clark.
Thank you, Sherry. We've got a couple of brag bucks today for guests and for those who don't know. Brag bucks is you can pay $2 and you get to speak for 30 seconds. And this all goes to our foundation. So, Eddie, thank you.
Eddie Barnes here. Today is my 85th birthday.
I'll stand up for that. Yeah. Happy birthday.
I am alive and well. First, I want to kind of tell you a quick story about my birthday. One of the big events, I don't know the rest of y'all, but my big event was when I was 15 years old, I could get my driver's license. I was so excited. So I went down, and that's the first time I'd ever written out my birthday, was when I filled out the application and, hey man, I'm gonna drive a car. Of course, I'd been driving since I was 11, so I didn't have any problem with it. And anyway, it's stick shift too. Anyway, the story goes, I was born, of course. How many of y'all were born at home in your house? I want to show of hands. Good man. Right here. Born at home. You know, they didn't have insurance in those days. I don't know if y'all knew that back in the 30s. Anyway, I was born at home and had a good and enjoyable life. And the thing about it, I went through life being born on April the 19th, which today is the 20th. You say, well, why would you say that? So when I was in high school, I wanted to join the Navy Reserve. So I went over to the Norfolk Air Station, and a bunch of my friends, we said, hey, that's a little extra money. If we go in the reserve, we can get a little weekend money and party with it. And so I got I didn't have a birth certificate. So and any lawyers in here? You know that the family Bible back in those days, it was an official document. So I had to get this huge family Bible, take it down to the Naval Air Station and show it, to open it up to the page. There it is, born the night of April the 19th. So check me off, I'm in the reserves. So I go into the reserves, and then I ended up changing over to the Army when I went to BMI, and I'm in the active Army. And I'm at Fort Carson, Colorado. My first sergeant calls me and he said, "Lieutenant." I said, "Yes, sir." "Yes, Sergeant." He said, "There's something wrong with your records." And I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, you finally got an official birth certificate." I said, "Yes, I did. I had to." He said, "Well, it said you were born on the 20th. And I said, "Are you kidding me? I've been celebrating the 19th all these years." And so I go back and I get the family Bible out and open it up. It says, "Edward Barnes, born on the night of April the 19th, which happened to be 2:00 in the morning." So what do? You know what I do? I celebrate the 19th and the 20th. Here's my gift to the foundation.
Well, that's a really good one. So I have kind of a throwback brag today, and people who are more tenured in the club will appreciate this. Last week, I had lunch with a good friend, and while she was writing her check to me, Emily Bailey, for tickets for KPAD, somebody at another table behind me said, "Hey, are those Kiwanis pancake tickets?" And I said, "They sure are." And he said, "I'd recognize those things from a mile away." And I said, "Well, would you like to buy some?" And he said, "I think I better, because my dad would be really mad if I didn't." And I said, "And who's your dad?" And he said, "David Helmer." So Chris Helmer was having lunch with his wife, and he wrote me a check for some KPAD tickets.
All right. Well, we've got an exciting program for you guys lined up today, and I'm going to bring up Leanne Lincoln-Hoker to introduce Debbie Custer to us.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Debbie and about one of the companies that she owns called the Hemp Mill. So Debbie Custer sold her first business in the early 1980s to Playboy Enterprises and has been moonlighting as an entrepreneur ever since. While scaling the corporate ladder in various companies to include Miller Brewing Company, Todd McFarlane Entertainment, Pfizer, Warner Lambert, and Johnson Controls, she's enjoyed the opportunity she's had to develop products and leave a lasting impact on the companies she's worked with. Some of you may remember, I didn't remember, a company called Cabell Sparkling Water, which was based here in Roanoke. Debbie is honored to have developed the brand flavor profiles and the strategy to make the brand one of national prominence. Over the past 20 years, her experience has been focused on plant-based nutraceuticals to include hemp and hemp-derived products. Recognizing that plant-based products provide more nutrition as well as inflammation relief to people and animals, Debbie develops products to fight inflammation and provide wellness benefits. Pet Calm, one of the products she has developed, was developed about 15 years ago to ease the pain of arthritis for her family pet. And over the years, that formulation has been expanded upon to a patent pending formulation for the benefit and efficacy of cannabinoids in humans. Debbie currently owns 5 businesses to include the Hemp Mill in Vinton and a nonprofit called Women in Hemp, with her 6th expected to launch in 2023. Please join me in welcoming Debbie Custer.
like the microphone.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you all for having me today. On this auspicious day of 420, we're going to talk a little bit about cannabis and how the different species and genetics of cannabis, and then I'll take any questions that you all may have. He's looking for the presentation. Briefly, before we get started, I deliberately wore the clothing that I have on today to see you all. This is made from hemp. My jeans are made out of hemp, and my shoes are made out of hemp. We are fortunate that in 2018, the federal government decriminalized hemp specifically because now we can plant it wherever and utilize it for homes and energy and clothing that I'm wearing today. Fortunately, what I have on was not produced in the United States because we don't have the processing yet, but we're getting there. So what is really about the cannabis plant? Well, first off, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I hear this all the time. My grandson told me. I read it on Facebook. I saw it on the internet. I read it in the Roanoke Times. None of those are valid methods to give you the whole story. It's a plant. It has grown on this planet time immemorial. It has been used 10,000s of years for various things. They have found it in tombs in Egypt and Indian burial grounds. It's there, and we all need to understand what it's about. So she's already gone through all of that. One of the things I do want you to know is I am a mentor and advisor for the Advancement Foundation and Innovation Mill. That is something I firmly and strongly believe in, is giving people a hand up to be able to start and launch their own businesses. This country was founded on small business, and we're losing a lot of those every day to corporations, which, as Leanne mentioned, that's where I came from. So I see what we're missing by not having that community integration with small businesses. So if any of you would ever love to volunteer your time to helping a young startup entrepreneur, we are more than happy to have you. We have the best time with the Gauntlet and with all the things that the Advancement Foundation does in Southwest Virginia. All right, a little bit about cannabis. Cannabis is this plant species. Hemp and marijuana are underneath it. The only difference between the two is a legal definition. Hemp can only contain 0.3% THC, and everything that doesn't have 0.3% THC is called marijuana. That is the only difference. They look the same, they smell the same, they act the same, they grow the same. And quite honestly, this jacket was probably made from marijuana. I know for a fact that pants were made from hemp, but in India, most all of it grows to over a 6% THC. So this definitely was made from marijuana. So you can use the same plant for any number of things. You can build amazing homes out of it. Has any builders in here? Anybody in construction? Does R23 factor mean anything to you? When you build a home out of hemp, it has an R23 insulation factor. It is fire resistant, mold resistant, pest resistant. And a lot of homes are being built today out of hemp because it's also allergen free. So the aspect of being able to have a home that stays about 65 year round and is allergen free is appealing to people. And so now that it's legal in the US, to be able to plant it, to grow it for that purpose, more contractors are doing so, more farmers are growing it, and we're going to see a lot more hempcrete homes. How many people drive a Volvo, a Mercedes, or a BMW? The entire inside of your car is made out of hemp. Yeah, all of the acoustic, that's why it sounds so good and it's so solid, is because it's made out of hemp. For the last 15 or 20 years, we have been importing about $1 billion in hemp to be able to use in things like cars and racehorse bedding. Speaking of your racing, all of racehorses in the country, all of their bedding is hemp. and it's been coming from Europe. We now have that opportunity to have all of that produced here in the United States. Different genetics do different things, just like corn. We're going to talk a little bit. I use corn as an example because when you see a field of corn, it all looks the same. But quite honestly, corn genetics are grown for different things. They can be grown for popping corn, eating corn, ethanol, alcohol, corn oil, corn syrup. And cannabis is the same way. You grow specific genetics for different purposes. We've gotten so wound up over it makes you high that we forgot the purpose that it was put here. And that was to clothe us, keep us warm, house us, and provide nutrients to us. Hemp is the most nutritious plant on the planet. Regularly, my team and others who wander into our shop take leaves, they put them on salads, they put them on their burgers. You can eat them just as they are. They have all your vitamins, all antioxidants, amino acids, a perfect balance of omega-3s and 6s, high in protein, very, very few calories, making it an amazing balance for you. And guess what, folks? This doesn't have THC in it. If you're worried about the psychotropic element or compound that is found, that's in the flower of the plant. And it's high in a marijuana plant, low in a hemp plant. But they all will flower or bud. And depending on male or female, the male plants offer seeds and the female plants do not. But this plant right here is about 8 weeks old. It is a male. I'm growing it specifically for the seed genetics in Southwest Virginia because of the humidity. I work with a group in India to develop carbon batteries. Hemp being carbon rich also has a high graphene level. And so the batteries will last longer. Once they die, you put them in the ground and they return back to the earth. Completely sustainable and biodegradable. This is not a great graph, but it gives you an idea of the different uses for corn and the different uses for cannabis. People don't often think about end use. I'm working right now with our politicians to be able to define these products based on what you want to use them for. Regulate it like spirits and alcohol if you want to use it as a relaxant. But if you want to wear it, it shouldn't be regulated in that same fashion. And so we're working on programs to be able to do that. But look at the differences. Look how much corn is used for ethanol. I didn't know that. And then in the same way with regard to how cannabis is used, the bulk of the cannabis is used for textiles and construction materials, not for what we all have assumed for decades. And unfortunately, our culture has been robbed of the ability to research and utilize this plant because of the demonization of the plant. And so, and we also, on the other side, we're glad because Israel has been able to do all the research for us. So in Europe, they know what it's good for, how to make it viable as a seed, as an oil, as a butter, as a milk, as a pair of jeans or a home. The research is out there. We just need to now capitalize on it, take it to the next level, and make it work for the United States. That's my brief, because usually I have a lot of questions. So does anybody have any questions? Oh, come on. Yes. Thank you. That's a great question. She asked how it works with medications. And it works in a way, quite a unique way. Cannabis is a remediator. So it has been used to remediate soil throughout the world when there's been a nuclear disaster or any kind of oil spills or anything like that. So it's also working in your body to help you get the nutrients that you need from your food and the benefit from your medicine. So if you have a targeted medicine for something like heart issues, it is going to actually work with that medicine and actually in many cases amp it up. I've not seen any studies coming out of any country that says if you have heart issues, particularly AFib, or you're using something like, what is now Coumadin, I would not recommend cannabis for you. I would not recommend any cannabis derived product for you. You could use a topical, and you can use, there are other amazing plants that do a lot of the same thing cannabis does. Rosemary does, basil does, oregano does. Cannabis is not the answer to everything. It's not going to heal everything. And in the case of heart issues, we don't know enough. There's not enough research. And so I would never, if you have PTSD, if you have cancer, if you have Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, cannabis is the way to go. But no, ma'am. Anybody else? Yes. I do not sell seeds. I, by law, have to be licensed. I am the first female in the state of Virginia to have a hemp grower license and a hemp processor license. I cannot sell my seeds. Marijuana is a totally different thing. I can give you seeds if I have them. I can give you clones off of a plant if I have them. The state is it's in its infancy. Let's give it a chance to figure all this out. When they said you can grow 4 plants in your backyard, they didn't consider that I have to have a license that I pay annually for. I have to be FBI background checked. My fingerprints are on file. And any plant that I have has to be registered with the state of Virginia. I have a totally different set of regulations to abide by than the person that's growing 4 marijuana plants in his backyard. Who's somebody over here? Yes. Pardon me? Arthritis? Arthritis is an inflammation. So anything that is inflammation is targeted by the cannabinoids in the plant. So whether you eat it raw, you have it processed into an oil, I would recommend a topical cream. And yes, it does bring down the inflammation. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I have a medical card. I vape a couple of times a day to help with my arthritis. On a normal day, if I forget my vape pen or forget to charge it, I would not be able to hold this microphone. It would completely fall out of my hands. I wake up like this. So for those of you who have inflammation-based diseases or symptoms, absolutely, that can help you. Yes, I have 6 nurse practitioners and physician assistants on staff to help facilitate, answer questions, and we also do medical marijuana cards at the hemp mill. So they can answer all kinds of questions. They'll look at your medication and they'll say yes or no. And my staff is very, very educated. We're more about the education than we are anything else. Yes, sir. The question was, and I forgot to, I had 2 questions, one about medicine and one about arthritis specifically. This question is, can you physically look at a plant and tell the difference between hemp and marijuana? And the answer is no. You actually have to send them to be tested. There is no way to physically tell it, nor can you smell a difference. It is legal in the state of Virginia to smoke hemp in public. It is not legal in Virginia to smoke marijuana in public. And our poor law enforcement officers cannot tell the difference until they take it and have it tested. I'm telling you, the state, being in its infancy, they move too fast over here and too slow over here, and it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. So I focus on foods. After this, and I'm sorry to the folks that aren't on the call, but I have brought organic, gluten-free cookies and candies that we make. I have a kitchen, I have a commercial kitchen brand called Buffy's Kitchen with hemp protein, reduced sugars, and hemp seeds. So, or hemp hearts. Hemp hearts are very oil rich, but you're welcome to try them. The jam that's in the cookies, we also make reduced sugar and high in protein. These are good for you. These are nutritious products. Again, no THC because it's from this part, not this part that I didn't bring and show you today. But, you know, we need to get past it. You know, I deliberately speak. I wished I had brought a wall with me. I brought a plant instead of a wall. But I have a wall of hempcrete that I stand around when people come in, and I try to torch it with a butane torch. Can't get it to even like remotely catch fire. It's a remarkable plant, and I hope all of you all appreciate it. Yes. The question was, are they marketing the R23 insulation and what form is it in? It is in that looks like, you know, the pink, I forget what it's called, but they have it in the rolls. It's called hemp wool, and they have it to be blown. Europe has, France specifically, has patented the equipment to be able to blow the insulation. And then there's a company in Pennsylvania that has developed the process to do it in the rolls. There are places that have it currently and are using it. There's some new green buildings in New York, and there's one in Detroit that has specifically used this insulation. Oh, okay. I'll be right back. Mm-hmm. Correct. The question is, how quickly does it grow? In Southwest Virginia, we may get 2 harvests a year out of it. In Central to Eastern Virginia, they'll get 3 crops a year. So you'll be able to grow it, cut it down, eat it, clothe with it, build a house with it, or use it medicinally, plant it, and regrow it again. It is a remarkable plant. It truly is. And it cleans the air. Yes, ma'am. That's a very good question. And it depends on, again, we've defined hemp. Hemp's not defined in other countries. So China grows and does a lot with the product. India grows a lot of hemp and does a lot with it. And so does Canada. So looking at how they regulate, they don't allow it to be used for anything but housing and clothing, ropes, that type of thing. Rugs, a lot of the rugs are made out of hemp. They don't allow it to be used for anything medicinal at this point in time. And so they don't really consider it in the same way that we do. Hemp hearts, the majority of the seeds are coming out of Canada, but the product's actually grown in the US, transported to Canada, and then brought back as a finished product because we don't have the infrastructure to be able to do it ourselves. And that's the sad part. You know, we can help farmers now. We can do things. We just have to get past the 70s tie-dyed stone stereotype and look at what it can do for our economic development. Yes, sir. My store's located in Vinton, across from the library. I've been there almost 5 years, focusing predominantly on foods and products for pets. I sell products made out of hemp, but we do a lot of education as well. Yes, ma'am. We do, yes. We sell, we have a cookie that's good for a treat, that's good for digestive, because I add other things to it. I have turmeric in that product and ginger. And then I originally started with Petcom. And that is a product targeted specifically for animals. It was tested and verified at the University of Wisconsin-Madison Veterinary Department, about a 9-month study they did with the product. Yes, sir. Uh-huh. It is used in Asia. He asked, is the product used in Asia or other countries for medicinal purposes? Not like it is here. In China and other countries, it's predominantly used for agriculture, feed, animal feed, but it's clothing and that type of thing. Yeah, in China, yeah. Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions? Well, again, I'd like to thank you all so very much for today. I greatly appreciate it. Please come and make yourselves at home with regard to the treats. The white one is ginger hibiscus, and the chocolate one is organic, fresh ground peanuts, peanut butter. So enjoy.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here. Debbie, we do have a speaker honorarium that we'd like to present to you. And Debbie has chosen the Advancement Foundation as the recipient. So thank you very much. Absolutely. And so next week we have Tyler Godsey with 5 Points Music Sanctuary, again, brought to us by Leanne Lincoln Hoker. So that's going to be exciting. And we are almost there to Pancake Day. So let's turn our, how many 37 zeros? Let's turn those into being productive and contributing to the cause here. Again, $5. That's $5. I think we all can do $5. So, and how we sell tickets every day of our lives. Even after it's over, we'll sell you a ticket. Absolutely. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of this week. 80s this weekend. So it's going to be beautiful. I hope our fishing day on the 30th is just as beautiful. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.